So guys, this is a video I felt I had to make, although there's been different variants of these types of videos. But I wanted it to be an educational video. It's not meant to be patronising or bossy in any way. So let's begin. This is top 10 fish you should never get for your typical aquarium. So these fish are not fish that I'm telling you should never get, but these are fish that the average fish keeper shouldn't get because they either don't have enough experience or the facilities to house them properly. So, first one is these two. Now, I've put the common plec and the gibbset plec together because you see these fish in loads of local fish shops. They're about 3 inch, about £7, give or take a couple of pound. And when somebody comes in and wants an alligator, these are the first things that 9 times out of 10 the fish shop will suggest, even if they've got ancestors or algae-eating snails. These two guys, along with other members of the family which grow to equal size, are sold. Now don't get me wrong, these are beautiful fish. I've had a gibbset plec before, but the information about these fish, when you're doing your research, when researching this PowerPoint, one website said it was alright in a 200 litre tank. Now, I've got a Rio 240 that's 3 foot long. These fish can get up to 2 feet long. So no, if you want an alligator, there's other alternatives, such as your bristlenose catfish, which you can get for about the same price as a baby common plec. And they come in all different colours, albinos, blacks, there's all sorts of colours. So I'm not going to spend much time on each of these fish I'm going to talk about, because I'm a firm believer, if you've got a fish tank, you should be doing your own research to make sure that the fish you're getting you can house properly. As a responsible fish keeper, I think that's what you should be doing. Moving on, we have what's sometimes called the Flagtail tetra. Now these are beautiful fish. I've seen on fish websites that are dedicated to monster fish, these are known as gentle giants. These prefer to be in shoals, so not only are you getting one monster fish, they're either best on their own or in groups of 5 to 6. You're going to need a huge aquarium for that. Don't get me wrong, it will look fantastic, but as the title of the video suggests, this is another fish not for your typical aquarium. The next one on my list, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, is a Fahaka Puffer. I've kept puffers in the past, so talented fish. I've had the figure of 8, and they're lovely, they play together, got great personalities. But I've also heard horror stories about the Fahaka Puffer. They're not overly expensive, they grow large, they can be highly aggressive, and they need a tank of their own. So unless you've got the resources to house one of these in a massive tank all by itself, and you're quite happy just to have one fish in the tank, then this fish is not for the typical aquarium. Another one, just like the common plec, the silver shark, grows huge. You can find it in nearly every pet shop around the world. It's not expensive, it looks brilliant. On the left is a picture of a silver shark, which is sometimes called the Balor shark. And the left hand side picture shows the normal size you'd buy it as. The right hand size shows potentially the maximum size of these silver sharks. They're not true sharks. They're only called sharks because they look like a normal saltwater shark. The next one on the list, and I know there's like a million ways to pronounce this, but I'm gonna say BOSSAGE. So, on the left is an albino Plecostomus. It's actually the one I've got. Great personality. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that it's full of sass. He does what he wants, when he wants. He thinks he owns the aquarium, but he isn't a bully. He keeps himself to himself, and he's got a ferocious appetite. On the right hand side, we've got a different species. She's still within the same family of Plecostomus, but one of the larger relatives. I bought my Plecostomus at £10. They can go for much more. You can get obviously the normal variety, the albino one that I've got, and you can get platinum. These are not for the typical aquarium for multiple reasons. Due to they grow to a very large size, they need a huge aquarium, which most fish keepers haven't got, and they are predators. They're meant to be nocturnal, but mine comes out as soon as I put the light on. And a slightly different option if you're wanting a prehistoric fish that looks prehistoric is the reed fish, aka the rope fish. That is a predatory fish, but doesn't need such large tanks as some of the bigger Plecostomus. I've kept reed fish, they're fantastic. Word of warning, they are extremely fantastic escape artists. I had one manage to get out of a fully covered tank and go down the sink plug. We had to undo the pipe, get him out. I gave him a wash underneath a freshwater tap, and he survived. But yeah, so watch out. The next one on my list is red-bellied piranha. Now, a lot of people like these, mainly to do with the films. And I just want to say that what's portrayed in the films is not an accurate representation of piranhas whatsoever. And that's why most people want red-bellied piranhas, because they think they're man-eaters and they think they're cool to have such an aggressive fish. They're not at all like that, and this has been proven numerous times. one of the most noticeable occasions where this has been proven to be wrong is by river monsters. Jeremy Wade went to the Amazon, caught a wild group of red-bellied piranha and stuck them in a swimming pool. He got in, nothing happened, the red-bellied piranha ignored him. He then got a raw piece of meat that was oozing blood, stuck it in the tank, in the swimming pool rather, with him. The piranhas still paid no attention. He then agitated the water and mimicked a stressed animal. These piranha stayed at the opposite side of the swimming pool, bearing in mind they were wild caught piranhas. So going out and getting these fish just because of the cool factor or the wow factor is not a reason to get these fish or any fish. If you've got a big enough aquarium to house a shoal of these and you want them because you appreciate that they are a unique fish that look stunning, then yeah, go get one, go get a shoal. But you can only keep, it's got to be a species tank. Although I have seen aquariums with like the common plec or the gibbosette plec, because they are armoured catfish and they grow so large. Red-bellied piranha don't bother them. Moving on is the red-tailed catfish. These are stunning fish. One of my favourite fish are catfish. In every tank I've ever owned, apart from the one I've got at the minute, I always have catfish in because they're so unique. There's loads of different types of catfish. I would actually love to have a red-tailed catfish, but there's numerous things stopping me. You need like an indoor pond for these fish. They're very active, huge fish that like to cruise around large open spaces of water. So even if you buy a tank that loads of sources of information advise you to get, not only does the aquarium have to be big enough to house these fish, they need to be able to cruise around at their leisure. So just to put into context and perspective of how big these fish get, I found this on the internet. So, red-tailed catfish, there's been reports of them getting from 6 to 8 foot. On river monsters, I'm pretty sure he stated that they've been found in the wild to get up to 8 feet long. If you look on this graph of sharks, look where 8 foot is. So, like the black tip reef shark only gets to 5.2 feet. That's smaller than a red-tailed catfish. If you're reading down here and thinking, nah, I won't be able to keep a black tip reef shark, you can't keep a red-tailed catfish. They're bigger. Mako sharks get to the same size as red-tailed catfish. They're on the Perkin River monsters for a reason. There's loads of different types of sharks here. The majority live out far at sea with large open areas to swim, and a few of these get smaller than these red-tailed catfish. So just think to yourself, would you get, for instance, a white tip reef shark which cruised around reefs No, because you don't have the size tank to do it. So why get a red-tailed catfish? I'm just trying to make the point. Research before buying any fish. They're not even that expensive either. I saw one about 6-inch, 25-30 quid. I could easily afford that. Do the right thing. If, as customers, we stop buying them, fish shops will stop selling them. Next fish on my list is also a catfish. It's the tiger shovel-nosed catfish. These are lovely catfish as well. Just like the red-tailed catfish, they like to cruise open areas, large open areas of fresh water. Just like the red-tailed catfish, any other fish that can fit in its mouth, it will eat. These as well aren't that expensive. I think they go from £30 to £50. I haven't put the shark chart on this, although yet again the tiger shovel-nose still gets bigger than some sharks. If we don't buy them, fish shops will stop selling them. They need to be left to specialist fish shops that deal with very unusual fish and huge fish. A good example is Pyracrotics. They ask you loads of questions and make sure that you're happy with your purchase and that the fish will be happy with you. I've asked them stuff before and they're like, well, no. So yeah, always ask, no matter what fish shop you're going to, ask about the fish. Also, there's a lot of hybrids between shovel-nosed catfish and red-tailed catfish. Also, I forgot to mention with the red-tailed catfish, you can get quite a few variants. You can get the short-bodied, you can get the albino, you can get the platinum, and I believe there's also now a phantom red-tailed catfish. Next on this list is Alligator Gors. I've seen these sold, and I think they're between £10 and £15. But yet again, these can get bigger than quite a few sharks on this list. So just think that these are predatory fish that can get to up to about 10 feet. Yet again, we're going about the 10 feet size here. You're getting them for bull shark size. They get as big as tiger sharks, bigger than white tip reef sharks, huge. They need open spaces again to swim. They're not just one of these large fish that'll just sit and be quite happy in like one spot. They do need area to swim. They are ambush predators. So they're not overly active, but they are more active when they're young. So that's the end of the video, and like I say, I'm not here to impose my opinions on people or to like bully you into not buying fish, but all these fish, as the title of the video suggests, are not for your typical aquarium. in most cases, most of these fish are predatory. They'll eat anything that they can get in the mouth. All of them need huge aquariums. Quite a few of them should either not be sold at all, or should only be sold to public aquariums. So, like, I know, I'm sure the Deep at Hull has red-tailed catfish. They've got quite a few. You watch them, Google it, have a look. They're not laid at the bottom, they're actively swimming about, cruising their environment. I've seen videos where these fish have come up and will feed out your hand. So like the tiger shovelnose, the red-tailed catfish will let you stroke it, it's really sociable. There are other fish that aren't for your typical aquarium. If you enjoyed this top 10 video and you want to see more content like this, please hit the notification button, subscribe, any comments or suggestions or criticism is greatly received. There are loads of other fish that aren't for your typical aquarium, so if you'd like another video like this, please tell me. I have tried to add fish in this that you can't typically get hold of, unless you go to a larger pet shop. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one.